do you guys want to start? Haz was there. Haz commented top 8. How was that?
It was boring. I wish the matches were a little more interesting, or like I wish there were a couple more top players that had showed up. But, you know,
Honestly,
just
yeah.
like the top 3 wasn't very stacked. You know, I was kind of bored.
Kola versus Riddles to start off top 8.
It's gonna die to the move ever.
Oh, he's dead to the fucking move ever.
Yeah, that's you, dude, in the crowd.
What a way to start top 8. Like, how do you like one up that? As like me in the crowd watching that, I was like, don't expect my matches to be as exciting as whatever that was. Like,
What happened with Cosmos obviously didn't perform up to standard, but shout out to Shadic being able to beat him with Corrin.
we've talked about Corrin being a great character, so shout outs to us. That was all us, honestly.
Yeah,
True.
That was our W.
It is extremely difficult for someone to impress Gavin with a character that he has ever played.
That's why I specifically wanted to mention Quidd, because I'm not saying this after Let's Make Big Moves specifically. As soon as I saw that fucking Ivysaur down smash kill, I was like, alright, this kid is actually nuts. But I did specifically want to beat Light with Diddy, because I think that matchup is really, really, really bad for Diddy. And I had a bad taste in my mouth after Summit. Welcome. Today's episode 40. We'll be talking about Collision today, a major event that happened in my backyard this weekend. Finally, for
hometown
once.
power up.
Oh, it's always the power up.
Yeah. Where do you guys want to start? Haz was there. Haz commented top 8. How was that?
It was boring. I wish the matches were a little more interesting, or like I wish there were a couple more top players that had showed up. But, you know,
Honestly, yeah.
like the top 3 wasn't very stacked. You know, I was kind of bored with them. Dude, it was one of the best top 8s we've had so far. It was
True.
saying this. Looking at the bracket, I was like, this is almost a perfect top 8, and even if you wanted to switch someone out, I don't even know who it is. But like, I always want to see Gluto in a top 8. Is always just how I feel. I think he's amazing to watch. The EU rep, all that good stuff, and Mars obviously personally for me, I always want to see him in there. But we had Light too, who was he's just the best. Him versus Chag was such a good set. I was thinking of every set I commentated. So many of them were game 5. So many of them were just incredible. Riddles versus Kola, like. These are just some of my favorite players of all time. And Riddle's beating him, too, which is, it's been a while since he has. And he went Kazuya, which is so sick. Yeah. After he swapped the FGC characters, he did so well with them. Like, I don't know, man. Yeah, it was one of my favorite tournaments of all time, to be honest with you, which I've been to a lot of tournaments.
That says
so,
a
like,
lot, yeah.
It was a special one for sure. It really was.
I think
you good, Marcus?
I think one of the craziest ways to start out was, I think that's a good topic to start with, was Kola versus Riddles to start off top 8.
It's gonna die to the move ever.
Like,
yeah, that's you, dude, in the crowd.
What was that? What a way to start top 8. Like, how do you like one up that? As like me in the crowd watching that, I was like, don't expect my matches to be as exciting as whatever that was. Like, the bar was set way too high.
I don't know, man. They were all good.
They were all.
I pointed this out on commentary, but the crazy thing that Kola got so mad game 2, by the way. You watched the player cam, he punched that table. It was looking like Mortal Kombat, like test your might, you know what I mean? The way he like brought it down, he was like charging up and karate chopped it.
And then he literally almost won. Like reverse 3-0 after that, right? Like,
dude, the thing he was doing was spot dodging all of Kazuya's shit. Spot dodging grab and electric, which both just lead to killing you.
That's
he was
so
just spot
bold.
dodging them. Like, dude, you are insane. You are
I know.
actually cracked for that. Like, that is the most Kola. How do I deal with this option? It's like, most times, like, I would be like, just don't interact with that character if you can. He's like, fuck that, I'm interacting. Fuck that, I'm spot dodging. I don't care, I'm Kola. Like, that was what a sick way to deal with that matchup. And it was just crazy. It was insane. It was truly insane.
Yeah.
Great set.
Yeah, what a way to start top 8.
I do want to point out that I think spot dodging in general is being used in different ways now. It's like so crazy to me because I'm trying this out in friendlies and I'm actually seeing players do it as well. But spot dodge was specifically used in the beginning of the meta, like, oh, I'm lagging, psych, I'm spot dodging, psych, you can't get dash grab because everyone thinks they can unshield, drop shield, dash grab. I punish, you get fucked, right? Like that was like early spot dodge usage. But now I feel like we're seeing spot dodge being used more like you can almost use it as a parry. And I know Max talked a lot about this. And I tried it out even in some of my friendlies where it's like where I feel like someone's going to do a falling aerial instead of parry, which is pretty risky. Parry is still really good, obviously, and you need to do it. But you can spot dodge the falling aerial. And then because of attack cancel, if you have a really good move that you can just like don't have to dash into or whatever, you can just attack cancel into it. Like you could like spot dodge cancel with Fox. Like they do a falling aerial into your spot dodge, just up smash them. And like get a clean whiff punish. It's almost like a parry up smash, right? So I know like for Kola, he was using it more to cover both electric and grab. So it's not exactly 1-to-1 with what I'm saying, but I'm glad that we are experimenting more with spot dodge and like abusing it in other ways other than just like, oh, I think you're gonna grab me spot dodge and then I get a fat punish. I think spot dodge cancel can be used way more effectively outside of just like dodging grabs and stuff like that. And I don't know, it's like collision, we're just seeing a lot of like meta defining stuff and it's really sick to see.
Yeah, it's funny because spot dodging it's like we're coming full circle because like spot dodging kind of fell out of the meta because everybody was like looking for it, right? Like somebody would hit your shield and you would just sit there and wait, like, oh, they're probably going to spot dodge just like get attacked. And then instead of like spot dodging grabs, everybody was just like, bro, full hop's broken. So like they're like, oh, they're probably gonna dash grab, and it's like, why don't I just jump over it just in case? But then people started, going for the jump read. So now people are like, back to spot dodging grabs. Like, so it's cool to always see like how metas develop and like how options you forget about like come back into play because you're like, wait, I used to do this. Why did I stop doing it? Oh, because the meta pushed that option out. But now like meta wise, when people are playing, they're not thinking about that option anymore. So you get to sneak it back in every now and then. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
I looked at the bracket for collision, like, and I was like, bro, every set is gonna be a banger. Like there was not a single set where I was like, yeah, I think I'm gonna go get some food during this. Like I think it's time for a snack break.
Oh, the snack break. Yeah, there's always a couple snack breaks in top 8.
Not this bracket. You're so right. It's funny. It's like the rare case of like being in person at the tournament. It was a different experience than being at home because I mean, if you're at the tournament, you're not gonna like take a snack break like pretty much ever. Like if you're at top 8 or whatever. But when you're at home, it's always good to map out your snack breaks for sure. Map all like wherever your breaks are. But the tournament, you're locked in. But yeah, dude, that's a good point. Like there were no low points at all. And the crazy thing about the scheduling for this tournament too, top 128 was all on day 2. Was all on Sunday. So honestly, day 1 was like snack break the day. Like nothing really big happening except for Goblin losing in pools. To the DDD. You know his name, Gavin. I forgot it.
Wait, what?
Yeah, you missed that?
Wait, Goblin.
Did you miss that?
Yeah, Goblin lost round 2 to Weezer, who plays DDD. Yeah, on day 1. True? That was the craziest thing that happened. And shout out to Goblin, who ended up getting like 9th after losing round 2, I think.
Wait, what?
I think it was 16th, I think, because Glutonny missed top 8 by 1. Yeah, Kola beat him in losers 3-1, which, whatever. But yeah, he had a great losers run the 13th. Next day, which is really impressive. Yeah, 13th, yeah, sorry. Yep.
Bro, that's a run. That's crazy.
Yeah, he killed it, honestly, which is great.
Yeah.
This tournament was so wild because like really the only thing that was missing was like Japan talent. I think that's like the one thing Summit had over this tournament. Cosmos was at this tournament. I think Cosmos being at Summit would have really shaken things up, but not too sure what happened with Cosmos. Obviously didn't perform up to standard, but shout out to Shadic being able to beat him with Corrin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I mean, we've definitely been talking about.
We've talked about Corrin being a great character, so shouts to us. That was all us, honestly.
Yeah,
true.
That was our W. The heck?
Us, then Shadic's dad, then Shadic in order of that accomplishment. Shadic's the Shadic's dad, man. He rules. That shit got me emotional, man. That shit got me emotional in the crowd. He yells, "That's my son!" after game 2. I was like, oh shit. Also, it was game 2 and he called that a little early and he started getting reverse 3 out. I was like, oh shit. Like, it's still his son, you know what I mean? Like, it's still his son, but it doesn't matter.
Is that your son up there?
Yeah, he called it. He called that shit.
Yeah, it's still my son. Yeah.
He reverse 3 stocked him game 5 too, right?
That part I didn't know until like yesterday. I was
Yeah.
like, oh.
What the hell, man?
'Cause-
Poetry. It's poetry, man. It's
okay,
beautiful.
so funny story about the Cosmos Shadic set was, so there was 2 streams directly next to each other on day 2. So Shadic and Cosmos were playing on the left side, and during game 5, I had to play my second top 128 set on the other side. And game 5 is like finishing, and like it like the whole venue is shaking, everyone's screaming, and I'm playing game 1 of my match, and I legit couldn't function because of how loud that set was. And after game 1, I literally turned to Soar, PT player from Canada, and I was like, thank God they're done. Like, we can actually like play now. Like, and Soar was like, yeah, like that was super hard to play. Like, we're fighting our own demons over here.
Soar had a good win too. Beat Aaron actually. I think it was game 5, right?
The round before we played, yeah.
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 No, yeah. You had to play his sister. You had to play Kel's first, his sister,
Yeah.
and then him, like
Yeah.
back to back. Like, yeah. So,
Very, very
that was
funny.
funny.
I talked about
Very
that
funny,
with y'all that weekend.
Yeah.
Kel's was my first match of top 128 off stream. And speaking of top 128 being on day 2, all best of 5. Honestly, that's the coolest thing of the whole weekend. Just that idea. That is the coolest thing. Like, it reminds me of what Kagaribi does.
Yes.
And I would love to see that more often, especially with just how Ultimate feels like it functions lately. I feel like having best of 5 for like a full day, like that was really incredible.
Hold on.
I'd like to hear what y'all think about that.
Before we do that, there's some confusion in the chat. Soar and Kel's are related, not Aaron
Yeah.
and Kel's. We somehow that got mixed up the way we said it. So my
Maybe
bad.
I said something messed
No,
up. Sorry.
I think it was me. No, it was you. Hold that.
So
See,
Sora is Jay from Smash 4, right? The Meta Knight player
Yeah.
from Smash 4.
Yeah.
Thor
Okay,
plays
Okay, so he
Pokemon
changes
Trainer
tags.
and Sephiroth. Kel's plays Sonic.
This is
And
sorta
I just
like-
played them back to back, so it was just funny because I'm playing like a whole family.
he's also like a Valorant pro.
I was gonna
Like,
say,
he-
isn't he
Yeah.
like ridiculously good at Valorant?
Actually
he
crazy. Shout outs to Soar.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Sora.
anyway,
But
yeah.
for best of 5, I'm a big fan of it. I think even for like the up and coming players, I think it's good for the top players, obviously, because just we get more consistency. That's like the main thing we get when we get best
Yeah.
of 5, right? You just get more games in, and whoever's it gives more chances to the player that's playing better that day, in a sense. And I also think it's really good for the up and coming players to get more games in that environment, because when you get to the top level, right, that's the environment you're gonna have to play in. You're gonna have to play in best of 5 environment rather than a best of 3 environment. So I feel like it's very good for the players that are like bottom of top level or like top of high level, and they're kind of like breaking through in that area to kind of get that experience. I think that's really important for those players as well. So I think it's just better in all fronts. The only L you have to like calculate is it takes more time for the TO to run the bracket. But I think if planned accordingly, and shouts to RJ. RJ ran that amazing TO in tri-state area, ran a bunch of amazing tournaments. So shouts to RJ running
That's
this
RJ,
tournament.
of course.
Yeah, running this tournament like he usually does, very well, and being able to pull that off, top 128, best of 5. Usually we see best of 5 in like top 64, top 32 area,
Yeah, like
but to see it in top
much
128,
farther into the bracket. Like top 128 is a big leap to have all best of 5, and honestly, it's gonna suck experiencing anything different because that was so nice. Like,
Yeah.
because I don't know the next time we're gonna see something like that, at least in North America, right? So
Yeah.
I'm already sad thinking about the next tournaments that aren't gonna have that, but maybe it'll set an example.
The only thing I'd say that was missed out, and I also really liked it. I do wish like you played one round later on the first day. Is the only thing. I just wish there was more. Like the first day again, like the only real notable I think upset was Goblin. So like it felt like day 1 was kind of just like business as usual, and then day 2 like was kind of the
I
main
think they
event.
focused
you know
on
what I mean?
doubles, which is
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, all right, that's fine.
Yeah.
And then the only other thing is that there were so many fucking good sets that were played in top 128 that just weren't streamed because there were too many, because there was just too much going on. So the only thing I wish there was more of was either recording setups, like with no commentary, or just more stream setups, which is also obviously asking a lot. And that's nitpicky. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not, it is a really, really great way to run a tournament. The sooner you get to best of 5, the better, obviously. I mean, how many game 5s did we see? Top 8, top 64, all throughout. Like, top 128, too. We saw a ton of game 5s.
Reverse 3-0s and stuff.
Shadic's set wouldn't have been as legendary as it was. I mean, he would have won 2-0, which is sick, but then it's like, all right. Then you always get the question of what if it was best of 5, though, you know, like whatever. Right. So, yeah. So, overall, yes, it was really good, but just bits of feedback. That's about it.
Bro, I'm looking at these brackets for Kagaribis, like, and the entire tournament for those are best of 5. Like, as soon as it starts, it's just best of 5. And they're like over 1,000 entrant tournaments. So I'm pretty sure like
we can do it. We can do it.
It's definitely a doable thing. I don't know how people would feel about the entire bracket being best of 5. I personally wouldn't mind it. I probably prefer it actually.
That's like in a perfect world, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think it's doable. It just like scheduling will have to be a little bit different, because one thing that North America we like to do is we like to run a lot of side events, and that kind of takes away from the time that we have for singles, which is like the main event or whatever. So I don't know if we're gonna ever get to the point where like we're not running squash strike doubles and singles all at one event, because I feel like most events do something of that sort, and I think that's maybe why like the Kagaribis, I don't know if they have any other event.
I doubt it.
Yeah, when I look at the brackets, it looks like it's only singles, so maybe that's why they have the time. And there's still like 2 or 3 day events. So.
The other thing I'd say, too, from being there in person is it was really tough to find a Friendlies setup, and I don't know if that has to do with the bracket format or not. Makes sense. Like, if you play a lot of matches and they're best of 5, a lot of matches on that second day, there's probably going to be less room for Friendlies anyway. But that's just, like, again, like, that's kind of a small thing, like, that you would only notice if you were there. And a lot of people did get to play Friendlies. I just kind of, who knows? I just had a tough time finding a setup, so it is what it is. But, every which way you run a tournament is going to have positives and negatives, and this is probably the best way to do it overall. Like getting that best of 5 in top 125 is great, or top 128 is great.
Also, someone mentioned like if all of the sets are best of 5, that the tournament would be really tiring. They would just spread out the amount of sets that you play per day. You wouldn't be running from
It's like any other tournament. There's specific time slots for like top 128, top 64, top 32, top 16, top 8, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Tournaments are always a marathon regardless. But yeah, I mean, that is a point. Like,
true.
But like, to be fair, if you're really good, the earlier matches like don't take as much energy. Like, and I mean, this is no shade to, players that don't get out of pools or whatever, but when Tweek plays someone, his round 1 or round 2, if it's not a bad matchup, he's not using that much mental energy because you're not pushing him that hard.
It's purposeful, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, exactly, right.
It's a strategy I specifically use. Maybe not all top players do it, but yeah.
Most I've spoken to definitely do it.
Well, you have to, right? And like that's going to happen subconsciously whether you want it to or not. Like if you throw out layer 1 and like it just you 3-stock your opponent throwing out your layer 1, like of course you're going to keep doing layer 1.
Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't you? And you're just going to 3-stock them again. Like,
yeah.
You know what that reminds me of is Leo against Quidd was that way, because game 1 was so close and Quidd stole it from him, and then after that it was the Leo show, like 100. I don't know what layer number we were on, but it was not good for Quidd the kid, man. That was a tough one to watch, because I really like Quidd. I think he's a great player, obviously, but man, Leo stepped it up, man. That shit was crazy.
I feel like top 8's the main topic today for Collision, right? Like that's what a lot of people want to hear about, especially Spargo over the last like month has been really dominant over Smash Ultimate. Mm-hmm. But I actually did want to talk about Quidd specifically because I just really enjoy watching Quidd play as someone who used to play Pokemon Trainer in tournaments. I'm really fucking impressed with Quidd as a player. I genuinely think that's one of the strongest players right now, period. One, let's make big moves, right? Like, no, didn't drop a set, right?
Yeah, it dropped 1 to Kola. I think Kola reset.
Did Kola reset? Okay.
Oh,
One, let's make big moves. next major collision that Quidd attends, right? Top 8 winners. Like, what the heck is going on?
At one of the most stacked tournaments, the only players that are not there are like the top Japan talent, right?
Yeah.
So like, but other than that, like we had Gluto.
Yeah, like
we
what
had
is going
all
on?
The top NA dogs. Like it was crazy to see that, and like even taking game 1 off of Leo, not a lot of people can even say they took a game off Leo in brackets. So in terms of like how fast he's improving, it's very impressive.
That's the strongest PT player in the world, in my opinion.
Yeah,
that
I think
that might even be like
Atelier, but
yeah,
a
lot of
it's
people
hard
might say
Atelier. Yeah, Atelier,
which is also like a really great player, and it would be nice to see Atelier play in the US or out of region, right? But I just want to say that I'm really impressed with Quidd. Like, what the heck? And honestly, in terms of just results, it might even be Quidd.
Right now,
statistically, anyway.
Look at results, yes.
In terms of like some sort of PGR or like ranking system, Quidd would probably be ranked higher regardless of opinion. But yeah, very very impressive. I think talking about things outside of like the top 3 or like
we'll definitely get into Spargo. Don't worry about it. Like
Shadic versus Cosmos is crazy. Quidd was really impressive.
One thing about Quidd,
3-0'd Cosmos and losers. Jackal got 13th, which is really impressive. Jackal reverse 3-0'd Jake in losers bracket. Jackal beat DM in Wolf versus Pikachu.
How's that matchup, Gavin? I didn't hear you in the crowd.
Terrible. And lost game 5 to Light. And Light was very, very happy about that because Jackal usually beats Light every single time. And then Jackal also lost a close game 5 to Tilde. So shout outs to Jude. Really solid bracket run from Jackal.
Also,
from the Wolf Extraordinaire.
One thing that y'all may not know as viewers or listeners is it is extremely difficult for someone to impress Gavin with a character that he has ever played.
That's why I specifically wanted to mention Quidd, because I'm not saying this after Let's Make Big Moves specifically. Obviously, I'm impressed with anyone winning any tournament of any caliber, right? And especially, I was like, damn, that's cool that Quidd won Let's Make Big Moves with PT. But I was only truly impressed after Collision, in my opinion. I just... As soon as I saw that fucking Ivysaur down smash kill, I was like, all right, this kid is actually nuts. Like, I'm actually just gonna straight up give it up because once you start doing things that I never even planned on thinking or doing, then you're goated.
That down air he had on Zomba, man. That was so.
Well, I knew that was gonna happen, but it was still fire.
That was so sick, dude. Yeah, that was sick. That was disgusting. The other one, talking about good wolves at that tournament, Stocktaker 69.
Oh yeah, we have to talk about that.
We gotta give it up. We gotta do it.
What a winner's bracket run. Took out Elegant and Chag.
Yes. Elegant and Chag. Like, what the hell?
Well,
should have been at Summit, right?
Wrong order. Chag and then Elegant, I think.
Right, yeah. Yeah.
And then Chag got the run back, right? And losers?
He did, yeah.
But still, very, very nice wins to put on your PGR resume. I don't even know if we mentioned this, but this is the first.
I keep forgetting that. That is a really cool part about Collision for sure.
Yes. This shit, like, obviously every tournament matters, but this shit mattered. Like, with a fucking capital M, all caps. Like, this shit mattered. Like, so, I mean, Stocktaker getting these W's are huge, you know what I mean? And obviously you want to place as high as possible and stuff, but especially when PGR season's online, it's also like what kind of, like, your placing's big, but what wins did you pick up on the way, right?
Yeah.
It's a very, very big deal. Getting a win on Chad, getting a win on Elegant, phenomenal way to start the things off for Stocktaker 69. So shout out to him, man.
Yeah.
And I mean,
shout outs to Wolf. Shout outs to Wolf.
So
Shouts to
Wolf,
Wolf.
Wolf O'Donnell, isn't that his last name?
Mr.
O'Donnell?
Consistency,
Yeah.
the consistent spacey, but maybe too consistent. I don't know.
Wolf sucks.
We'll talk. We can talk about Wolf later. We'll talk about the players now. But yeah, Wolf has definitely been slowly going down on my list just because he might be too consistent.
Because he sucks.
I feel like this podcast is just always just when do we start talking about Wolf? Like it happens all the time. It's like when do we just start talking about Wolf O'Donnell? Like when is this?
No,
gonna
it's
happen?
We
definitely
need to have
Fox,
one episode
Fox,
that's
Joker. This is the Joker and Fox podcast. Like,
True.
especially Joker
Yeah.
hate. You know how many hours we've probably spent complaining about Joker?
Holy moly!
Speaking of, never mind. You know what? Don't even bring it up.
I don't want to drift off the
No,
topic.
no,
but I played
no.
Void's Joker and Friendlies, and I was about to like rage. I wanted to like just throw my chair. I got fucking Arsene back here, and I was like, I don't know how much I can take of this anymore. Like, but that's off topic. But
There's tournament footage of me raging at Joker when he low profiled my up tilt with Ken. He low profiled it by
With his
dashing
dash?
underneath it.
Yeah.
There's video of
Not
me
even a move,
visibly
just a dash.
just doing what in the camera. First time I'd seen it, so I was like, wow, I was raging, but it's all good.
I would too.
oh, yeah, by the way, the reason why you couldn't find any Friendlies at Collision is no one wants to
No
play.
one wants to play with me.
Like,
So
there's
right,
a guy
I
walking
could've
around like,
played
"Hey, you
with
want
me.
to play Friendlies?" And they're like, "Oh, it's the guy that plays fighting."
Yeah,
games."
Has been
Oh.
coming up to me and asking for friendlies in a picture, and I like kept ignoring him.
I did ask you for a picture one time. You didn't give it to me. I don't know what did I do? What the heck?
There's sometimes if you play certain characters, that's just an L you have to hold. Like,
What's
Anyone
to like
wanna
about my
play
squad, dude?
you know what the best thing I know we're so off topic, but the best shit I've ever heard at like a tournament where someone's like asking for a money match, and the best thing is when someone asks them like returns the question, "Who do you main though?"
Yeah.
Hey, you want a money
Yeah.
match? And then someone's like, "Well, who do you play?" Rob? No, I'm good, man. Like,
Yeah, see ya.
it's like certain characters are like, no, I only money match in matchups that I know I like.
The thing is, if I
Like,
applied that
coward
philosophy,
shit.
I would never say yes to like anyone.
You're about to say you would not play.
I would just be
Why
like,
not?
"What character do you play?" There's like at least 30 or 40 where I'd be like, "Nah."
Nah, I'm good.
Like, so I might as well just say yes or no without asking, because I'm never gonna play the fucking game at this rate.
Charles, to your credit too, one of my favorite things to do on Twitter is to complain about people who won and done on Elite Smash. And Lade goes, dude, to be fair, look at your lineup. Like, of course they won and done you. Like, you think they're gonna stick around and play you again? I was like, I'll give it up.
Yeah.
Well, they're never gonna learn then. That's what I have to say. Fair enough. So you handle your problems in life, you just leave. See ya.
All right.
Get out of here then. I don't want to play you. No integrity.
So
The
Gavin,
elephant in the room. Oh, what's up?
I was just gonna say maybe you should go over your runs personally.
Do you think
And
do you
then-
think we should go over my run and then talk about how Spargo is an alien from a different planet? That
I think we go through your run. We can talk about like
We didn't
Riddles
mention
had a
Riddles,
crazy
yeah.
run.
yeah,
Yeah.
just
But I think talking about your run to start things off, I honestly think you conquered a lot of like trials and tribulations for yourself. Just for everyone. I mean, I think the only thing that you could have added onto the list is like you winning the entire thing and then like you taking a set off Goblin. Like you've never taken a set off Riddles, and like even though a lot of your characters are like pretty good for against fighting game characters, I think that's like a personal struggle you have in a sense where you play a very like you don't take a lot of risks, so you have to play almost perfect. And like you know the sets that you have lost versus Riddles, it's like you almost get it, and then he like kills you at 80 or whatever with some kind of confirm. Like you almost get to win the way you want to win. But this time you're able to take your first set off of Riddles. You got the run back on Light, right? You got the run back on Leo. You weren't able to get it over Spargo, but I think like even from you, like from start to finish, you were able to conquer a lot of things you've been struggling as of recently. So I think that was like the sickest part about watching it, and you did it with solo Diddy. So I
Yeah.
think that's like the most special part. Right?
So y'all want me to just go through my tournament run,
Yeah, just the rundown.
and then
from
we can
pools.
talk about like individuals from top 8 maybe.
I think that's what the people want, yeah.
Yeah,
we kinda
there's a
talked
there's a
about,
lot
like-
to talk about with my run. I don't mind. So going into Collision, I didn't plan on playing any character but Diddy. I've done a couple tournaments over the past few months with this mindset because I hate not being able to play Diddy. So like I'm down to just play bad matchups at this point. So
Yeah.
I played pools on Saturday. My first match is against Bowser, and I was like,
No Steve, no you
yeah.
dodged the Steves, you dodged the fucking all the weird ass characters.
yeah.
Pac-Man.
I was playing against Bowser, and I was just hitting Bowser and doing a million damage and spiking Bowser and two framing Bowser. I was like, this is Smash Brothers. This is fair. And then my second match was against Kazuya, and I was like, yes. Like, and just, you know, Kazuya doesn't get to play the game against Diddy a lot of the time. Then my third match to finish off the day was against Rob. So I had a perfect Diddy Kong pool. Rob is my personal favorite matchup. For those who don't know, Rob is my favorite character to fight in Smash Ultimate. And that was incredible. And then day 2, my first matchup was Super Go Kells. I play against Sonic a lot, but it's still a character I really struggle against. I've lost to Sonic a handful of times. I've had close matches with Sonic. And I personally think Sonic is like one of the strongest characters in the game. Personally, I think he's like an S+ best in the game type of character on paper. And I applied a lot of new strategies, whether it was Diddy general stuff or Diddy vs Sonic stuff, and it worked out really well. I won 3-0 versus Super Girl Kells. We even sat down and chatted a bit about the matchup and, like, you know, what I was doing and what she could have done. So I actually really enjoyed that match, even though they, you know, were 6-7 minute games. You know, that's to be expected. You know, Diddy games take long, Sonic games take long. Put them together, they're gonna take long. But I really enjoyed that set a lot. And then I was supposed to play Aaron in terms of projection, but Soar beat Aaron game 5. Aaron used both Diddy and Rob, I think. I didn't really see any specific stuff going on. I'm assuming
He did, yeah, you're right.
I'm assuming Soar went PT the whole time. So I ended up playing Soar on stream. Once again, despite planning on going all Diddy, I had no reason to switch off of him either, because Diddy versus PT I think is a really, really good matchup for Diddy. I won 3-0. Sora ended up going Sephiroth, which is an even better matchup for Diddy. Just like, you know, switching up the matchup, but really hard matchup for Sephiroth too. So I'm like well into best of 5 territory now. I think I'm in like winner's quarters at this point, right? And then I played Gluto again. Diddy versus...
Wait, you skipped you versus Big Boss.
Oh, thank you. And then I get to play against Rob again, my favorite matchup.
Another Rob.
This bracket is way too good for me, especially if you consider the fact that Aaron has beaten me in the Diddy Kong Ditto. So I kind of dodged that. I personally really wanted to try it again, but that was you know, clutch in terms of like a smooth bracket run in terms of matchups. Like, you know, the Diddy Ditto is obviously a little weird, like anything, like any Ditto. But yeah, I played against Big Boss. We've played before. I dropped my first game of the tournament to Big Boss. I was up 2-0. Big Boss took a game, and then I took the next game. But that set still went really well. My conversions were on point. I was doing crazy combos, and I just really love that matchup. So that was for winner's quarters. And then I played Gluto again. And honestly, I think I got really lucky quite a few times. I think Gluto played it slightly better this time. I think the first set I genuinely just like won, but this time I feel like it could have gone either way despite it being 3-0. I think game 1 was super last hit, game 2 was super last hit, game 3 I basically lost. I think game 2 I basically lost too, but he barely whiffed a waft. So not much to say. I don't feel incredible about that set. It's cool to keep it together and win games, I guess, even if I did get a little lucky. So I don't feel terrible about it, but I'm definitely worried about next time, if that makes sense. Like, I definitely have to be ready. Like, if you look at the set counts, like 3-0, 3-0, whatever, like, that sounds like I have nothing to be worried about, but I definitely think it's getting scarier and scarier. So we'll see what happens next time. And that was for top 8, and then I played against Spargo. So this set really fucking pissed me off. For one reason, just one small reason. Last time Spargo and I played is at Poor Priority, and I lost game 5 really close. And game 1, I fucking SD'd. And I think it lost me the match. Same exact set as Poor Priority. I SD'd game 1. And I just couldn't get it out of my head. I was really, really disappointed that I SD'd again. But despite the set being similar in terms of I lost 3-2 and I SD'd game 1, I still feel like Spargo definitely had the edge regardless. At least game 5. I'm pretty sure game 5 was solidly in his favor, unlike Poor Priority where it was like super last hit, right? So yeah, I was really pissed, and I had to play light in my first losers match of top 8.
And you wanted this, right?
Yeah, for some context, going into Collision, there's only one person I wanted to beat, and it was light. In terms of really wanted to beat, like I specifically want to play you. I'm the type of guy that usually I don't care who I play, even if you think I want to play MkLeo or Spargo. Like, you're not wrong, but I'm not like going to the event for that. Like, I just want to win and beat everyone. But I did specifically want to beat Light with Diddy because I think that matchup is really, really, really bad for Diddy. And I had a bad taste in my mouth after Summit. I lost with Diddy game 1. Light really bodies me in friendlies when we play a lot of the time. Like, he beats my Sephiroth, beats my Wolf, beats my Diddy. And I hate Fox. I hate fighting Light. I SD'd game 5 against Light, and then he fucking shield poked me. And I was just so mad after Summit. And then part of me is like, man, maybe I could have stuck it out with Diddy. I only did it for one game. Like, maybe I could have tried it and learned some more. Did a lot of studying. Tried to do a lot of stuff specifically for Light. And I beat Light. And that was cool because low-key, after losing to Spargo the way I did, I was like, damn it, this is the worst person to play against right now, despite me wanting to play him. Bad matchup. You know, if Light gets any momentum, like, he's just going to delete you from the bracket. So I was worried that I was going to bow out at 5th, like, without even getting a chance to, like, breathe. Like, kind of just, like, all of a sudden you're in winner's top 8, and everything's going perfectly, and then you're just out. I was scared that was going to happen to me. But I beat Light, and everyone disagrees with me when I say this, but I do not think Light played well that set. I think he played much better at Summit. So I'm not.
I think to say that he played better at Summit is fair.
Yeah.
But I don't think he played like trash.
As much as I wanted to beat Light with Diddy, and I'm happy I did it, it didn't feel too right. I don't know if it's because of all the early kills I got or something. Like, I want to see if I can do it again, basically. In a more honest way. Like, I want to see if it like can like happen cleaner. But I did.
Right, where you don't nail every single edge. Like game 1 and 2, you nailed like every single edge guard.
Yep.
When that happens versus Fox, like it gets pretty brutal, and it also, like, as a Fox player, when someone like nails every single edge guard, sometimes it'll force you to start recovering bad because like you're doing the standard recoveries and they're getting covered, right? So then you start doing some weird, desperate Firefoxes, which I will say I think Light had some pretty questionable Firefoxes.
Yeah, the set didn't feel too great.
Like towards the end, but yeah.
Like, it feels good to land more edge guards than I landed at Summit or whatever, but
it's because he ain't get a chance to play, so you couldn't even tell how.
Yeah, it's like did I really figure it out kind of thing. Like, and obviously in Smash there's never really figuring something out, right? Like, it's always going to be different every single match. But yeah, I'm still happy about that. Like I said, this was the only person I really wanted to play and beat, so you know, I can't be upset with that. I'm satisfied enough, but I still want to see if I can do it again. And
I know or just like one more thing to add on to that is for Tweek, a big thing that Tweek has to conquer a good amount of times is like initially going into losers bracket, right?
Yes.
And obviously, if you've been watching Tweek ever since Smash 4, you know, especially in Smash 4, losers bracket Tweek and winners bracket Tweek were two very different entities. So coming into Ultimate, I think that's something that you've grown on a lot, right? And that was essentially the worst case scenario for you, was to lose I mean, Spargo did win solidly game 5, but like there was an SD game 1. Like there's some things that can kind of like tilt you coming
Yeah.
out of the winners bracket, and then like you fight someone that usually beats you in friendlies and tournament, and then they also play a character that tilts you, right? And you just got into losers bracket, so the fact that
I was definitely worried.
you
Yeah.
you like, and the thing is, like, what was it? Games 1 and 2, you were like hot. Like you were playing really well. So me as a spectator, usually I'm expecting like a little slower start from Tweek just because of just how Tweek usually is. And it's just it's cool because if you've been a Tweek fan for a long time, there are certain things that you expect from Tweek in certain parts of the bracket, and I think you've grown to the point where like you can surprise a lot of people depending, even if like something looks like dire or worst case scenario. So that was really sick to see.
It's
you know?
funny
And
because
Yeah.
sometimes it definitely goes back and forth. Like sometimes in Ultimate, I've definitely just got double eliminated right off the bat, right? It's not a surprise. Like it happens to me a lot. So it got sometimes to the point where I'm happy if I win one set after being knocked into winners. Like it's like that's an improvement for me. Like my brain is still in my head kind of thing. Like let's go. Like I can play the game when I'm in losers. So any sort of losers bracket run is a big deal for me, especially going into future tournaments. Like I have some sort of confidence next week or next month. Like sometimes I get put into that vortex where I have a really rough tournament and it takes me like 2 or 3 more tournaments to get back into the swing of things because I'm never going into it with a fresh, mindset or confidence. So yeah, that was really crucial for Collision. My next match was Riddles. So
a player that you've never, at this point, have never taken a set from.
yeah,
And
so
I think plays an archetype that you're not a fan of as well.
oh,
right?
absolutely
like
not. Absolutely not.
Right.
What do you mean? What do you mean by that?
I despise every fighting game character. There's just 4 Ryus in the game. All right, moving on.
And the people that play
Hold
them
on,
as well.
hold on
We're
a
like
second.
full toxicity here. Like all the people that play them, all the characters. No.
You can really kind of
Absolutely. Toxicity all the way.
You play with Squad Strike. True. True.
Az is literally cheating in Squad Strike.
True. I'll give it up.
He just plays Ryu, and then Belmont. Like, what the fuck?
I did both Belmonts is always my counter argument.
Yeah,
It's
imagine
way
if it was 4v4, Belmont, Ryu.
Did you see the one Lade asked for? Quick aside, at Frostbite 2020, when Lade won Squad Strike, he was told that the finals would be 5 characters versus 5 characters, which is kind of hype, honestly.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
like, "We warmed
I
me
like
up."
when they do
It
that.
was 2 Belmonts, Ryu, Ken, and Terry. I was like, "Yep, let's go. Let's start playing."
4v4, Ryu, Ken, Terry, Kazuya.
Bro.
My worst nightmare.
Sorry.
So my next match was Riddles. Did they do winners finals first? They did, right? And then I played Riddles.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Here's
that's how they
my-
usually do it.
Here's my fucking thought process. I'm gonna be really honest with the stream right now. So, Spargo beats Leo. I haven't played Leo in months. And I was sitting there like, all right, I'm about to get a winning record on Leo. I'm so, like, post-quarantine. Like, I am so fucking sick of this. So I'm like, I need to beat Riddles so I can beat Leo. This is all I care about right now. And I kind of dedicated all my mental energy to that. So I'm playing Riddles, and then it starts to get kind of shaky, and I'm like, oh shit, like this is actually a little too close, because that matchup is really good for Diddy. But towards the end of the set, I think I kind of cleaned it up and did what needed to be done, right? Like game 5 was really good. And I was like, okay, finally I get to play Leo again. Like,
When's the last time you played him?
Riptide.
Riptide. Wow. Holy fuck.
Oh, what the
Was
hell?
it Riptide like right after Summit 3?
Yeah.
Ultimate. Dude, holy
So it's
shit.
been
you haven't
over
played
6
them
months since
long.
we played.
Wow. Holy fuck.
So I was like, all right, I literally need this right now for my sanity. Like, do you know how down bad I've been for years over like my record with Leo and like all the nail biting, like nail biter losses and like all the bullshit and cringe shit I've had to deal with, like
Arsene.
like-
Arsene.
like all the sour spot moves that didn't sweet spot, all the fake kill screens, all the 2-0 leads, blah 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 blah. All like how even the game counts is, but the set count does not reflect it. I was like, all right, we're 2-2 post quarantine. In my brain, this is like a clean slate. And that W was really important. I told myself do not pop off, but I popped off really hard. It was a really cringe-looking pop-off. I kind of looked like a goblin.
True.
I liked it. I thought it was
I
good.
kind of looked like a cryptid or something. I don't know. I looked like a demon, like in a bad way.
Mothman.
You got the
My
chair
favorite
hands,
Tweek
bro.
pop up is probably the what was it? Low tier city.
Low Tier City, that was a good
I feel
pop-up
like
was
I feel like low key my pop-offs are usually fine, but that one was a little
Yeah.
weird. Not a lot of
Oh,
not a lot
should've
of not a
gotten
lot
that
of
on.
stage to work with. All right, I'll give it up for that.
The best Gavin pop off was when he first beat the Buzz at Evo in Smash 4. Because he literally jumped off the stage.
Like 10 feet in the air. Yeah,
It like especially with
I can jump
the
high.
Buzz,
By the way, shout out to that.
the buzz
I'm
feels
watching it.
like
Yeah, you got jumps.
like remember for older melee, like Mewtwo King was like that wall, right? Like it was so hard to get your first W on Mewtwo King in melee, but like once players did, it was such a huge like wow, I'm like through the floodgate and like now I can start like you know what I mean? I feel like the buzz is that for ultimate where it's like to get your first the buzz W, it's so hard because he's so consistent. Like you're not gonna bullshit him, you're not gonna cheese him, like or it's like you can do that, but it's very difficult to do that. So when I feel like a lot of players when they get their first W on the buzz, like the pop off's incoming for sure. I feel like the buzz gets popped off on the most
Oh, yeah.
out of all the top players.
Well, for me, it's always game 5, whether I win or lose, or like last game. Like it's crazy how many years DeBuzz and I have been back and forth. So just like I guess there's some context for that. But yeah, I beat Leo, right? And I'm popping off. Like 2-second break before grand finals. At this point, I have played 1 million sets in a row. I sit down for grand finals and I feel my body and I'm like, oh no, I don't have it in me to keep playing. Like I just knew that I didn't. And this is no shade to Spargo, by the way. I genuinely feel like he had the edge over me in the 3 sets we played. But I sit down for grand finals and I was like, yeah, fuck. I'm gonna have to take an L here. And then I win grand final set 1 and I was like, oh, okay, maybe I can win. But then set 2 started and it was like a complete 180. Like I felt like a lot of my decisions were really desperate and lazy or greedy, whatever you want to call it. Like it was definitely like not as clean. And Spargo kind of kept that resilience and that like, discipline, right?
Yep.
So I was definitely my biggest regret of Collision 2022 was popping off on Leo is basically what I'm getting at. Because I think maybe I would have had a little bit more energy to keep playing. But yeah, I do have to really prepare to play Spargo again because Spargo would hit me and it would never stop. I would get put on the ledge. I would die, take 1 million damage. So I genuinely did feel lost. Even after winter semis, despite the SD and everything, I genuinely felt like I just lost and I couldn't figure out what to do. And Grand Final Set 2 didn't feel any different. So I'm definitely looking forward to trying to figure out what to do against Spargo because I couldn't live. So yeah, shout out to Spargo. Basically that joke I was saying how like Spargo's an alien, blah blah blah. It's because it just feels like a robot. Like
Yeah.
every ledge decision leads to damage or death. Like such consistent decision making, such consistent patience and discipline. Like you would never expect this player to be a literal child.
Yeah.
Because
Dude.
like I said on the podcast before, his best traits are that of a grown man. Like he plays so patient and calculated and like slow when he needs to. My best traits when I was up and coming as a player was that I played like I was psychotic. Like I did crazy creative things and like really aggressive, and that's why I would lose to the Buzz every week. Like it took me a while to be the patient player I am.
The buzz taught you
Yeah.
through pain.
The Buzz showed me reality.
Reality, the reality, the buzz is
And
your reality check.
It's a reality check.
Comparing
yeah,
it
for
to
sure.
Leo-
That's his nickname, dude.
Feels like a lazy comparison. Like comparing Spargo to Leo feels like the obvious cop-out answer because, from the same region, similar characters,
Or characters,
stuff like that. But they legit, it's it's happening again. Is literally all I have to say. Like, it's insane what the timeline we're in. So I'm definitely gonna try to study up, and I'm definitely not happy with second, but there's a lot to take away from it, and I don't want to beat myself up too much. And yeah, I'm glad that, you know, for all the support, and shout outs to Diddy Kong. I don't know.
Honestly, for me as a spectator, this was your best performance ever. I think it was better than your summit performance.
Thank you.
I think
it's not easy. Like, to be brutally honest, like, it's not easy with Diddy Kong to win, period. It's really fucking hard.
I think at Summit, you overcame a few hurdles, like when you're up 2-0 against Leo and stuff like that. But, like, this bracket felt like you were playing really well, like, pretty much the entire way through. Unfortunate SD, you know, game 5 loss is tough.
Yeah.
You go into losers, you play your hardest opponent you could possibly play in the world, maybe outside of like T or something.
Yeah, like up there for sure.
Yeah, one of the hardest opponents you could play, and you come out guns blazing. I was like, oh man, here we go. Like, this joint's a wrap.
3-0.
Edge guard.
See ya.
The dare on the side B. I was like, where's the standard backer? I was like, here comes the rising bear. Here comes the rising. Boom! I was like, oh my god, he's at 40.
What's going on? You play against you're still in losers. Like, you play against Riddles. You hate FGC characters. I was like, all right, here we go again. He's gonna get hit by one stupid like interaction. Like, he's gonna do something, spot dodge, auto turn around, down tilt, and die. And he's like, bro, I hate this game. This is a smash. You won. I was like, what's going on? You play against Leo. You're playing clean. I'm like, who is this? Like,
losers bracket. What the heck?
Like, yeah, exactly. You get your grands. You win a set.
Bracket week, yeah.
And then set 2 started, and I was like, honestly, even if he loses this, he's beating everybody. It's not like it's not like, you know, like he didn't. There was an opponent that he couldn't beat. He's beaten everyone in the tournament, and he's done it through losers. And at this point, you just look gassed. Like, there was
it was. I hate to say it without also crediting Spargo, but I do genuinely. I just felt like so exhausted.
I mean, that's just part of the tournament.
It's literally part of it's part of being a good player too. Like, Spargo wasn't, and I was. Like, like
stamina is a very important stat.
Like, that's just a W for him rather than an excuse for me.
That's the advantage of not losing too. You play less sets, you get to stay fresh, like all that good. Like, that's the advantage you win by staying in winners.
Yeah, like, if you're in winners bracket, you deserve this advantage. Yeah, like, that's just it's more of a W for Spargo than an excuse for me. But yeah, I did genuinely, like, I could tell, like I don't know if I have it in me, and he clearly does. But yeah, Marcus mentioned something that I kind of forgot to mention, is getting that one set is definitely a nice takeaway despite getting second, especially like a really clean, like just 3-0, like no trouble kind of thing. Like, all right, like going into next time, despite like we kind of traded sets and traded games and he has like the slight edge, right? It does give you a little bit of confidence going into the next time we play. Kind of like what I was talking about with just like having a decent losers bracket run. Like, I'm feeling good going into my next event. I just want to see what happens if the bracket isn't that Diddy centric, like Diddy centered. Like, if I have to run into some projectiles, or like I really want to see, like, I want to beat T with Diddy. T, I know you're watching this. I know this is translated right now. T, that kill screen on that forward air wasn't reasonable. You should have died to that forward air. Low key. We can agree on that. So, you know how I said Light was the one person? Right now, it's you. So, see ya.
It's a moving hit list, dude.
Shout out to I'm a huge T fan.
Oh yeah, me too.
One of my favorite.
Thank you for watching the podcast. I'll stop being mean. T-Cat man. You guys are competitors, obviously, right?
Yeah. That's one of the things. Like, when you're out on the battlefield, it's different. You got no friends on the battlefield. It's how it is.
I have a friend on the battlefield, and his name is Diddy Kong.
Diddy Kong.
The
and
banana. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Did he without banana? With banana? Like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
I really want you to tell the story of so you guys can tell when Gavin was talking about his run where he was very adamant about he was telling himself don't pop off if I beat Leo, right?
And I still
Like,
did.
he was telling himself that, and he still did. Now, our good friend K9 S Brood.
Oh god, the wisdom coming in.
I don't know if I
There's
can
a
tell the story.
backstory to this, yeah.
Yeah, or if you want to tell it, Gavin, you can.
So
but-
basically, growing up, I was really emotive when I would play Smash. Like, I was the type of player that would, like, move in their chair, pop off every time I won. Like, I was all over the place.
You're a rager. You're
Yeah,
also a rager.
I'd get really pissed when I lost, even rage, once or twice in my
Bowser
life.
Jr. That was the best part. I love low key. This is just a sidebar. I love it when low tier mains fucking rage.
Yeah,
that
it's-
shit gets me going.
It's weird
fucking
because
hilarious.
I look at it from a different perspective now. When I see someone who mains like a genuinely bad character, like rage, like right there at the setup after losing, I'm like, what are we doing? What are we doing? But I guess that was me at 1.2. So, but
Yeah, it was.
so basically, whenever I would see like a player I was a fan of or a friend of mine like do these things, I would tell them like, do you realize how much energy we're burning right now? Like, this is a bracket. Like, you're not in grand finals right now. Like, bro, that
It's
was for
day
top
1
30.
pool,
Bro,
bro.
that was for top 32. What are we doing?
Right.
Do we want to win this match or do we want to win the tournament?
It's
So it's a
age-old
philosophy.
wisdom.
Yeah, so it's a philosophy I try to apply, but I still pop off once in a while. Shouts to the Buzz. Usually it's only on the Buzz. Also, shout out to the Buzz who shout out to the
Where the,
Buzz who
uh,
pulled up on Sunday despite not entering. It was so cool to see you.
Bro.
That was
You guys
cool.
had dinner with the Buzz, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
he was
yeah.
there.
Yeah,
he was
yeah.
with us. It was
Shout out
sick.
to fucking the goat, the Buzz.
He rules,
Imagine
dude.
how different it would have been if the Buzz entered. Isn't that a crazy thought? How like
Yeah.
one player entering
Yeah.
or not entering
Oh,
can
can
make such a
influence so much. Yeah.
The whole
Yeah.
bracket. Like,
The
top
entire
players
bracket's
are
different.
demonic. I don't know.
Yeah, something I was thinking of too is we're talking about these long runs, and that is a part of this format too. Best of 5 all day is exhausting. Like you said, you had to play against Sonic round 1. Like, what if that went game 5? Like, that's a lot of energy right there to try to keep up and play against a Sonic who's doing well. And I was thinking about Light's bracket too, because we were talking about, you were like, maybe he wasn't playing his best or something. Man, he might have been gassed. Like, his bracket was stressed. I mean, most Fox brackets are going to be pretty
Yes.
stressful. Lost to Riddles pretty early. That's a stressful ass matchup. Obviously, Terry kills him at
Yeah,
10.
that
like,
looked
he's
really
dead.
bad. Like, really,
Dude.
really difficult to deal with. Like, just
And then he-
exploding left and right. Yeah.
Bro, that, and then he had to play. Hold on, I had his run here. He also had
He had to play Leon.
He
Yeah.
had to play Leon, who he's lost to before, and is also a very stressful.
I think
matchup for
Leon,
Fox.
I don't know what the record is now after Light taking the W, but it was definitely, they hadn't played in a long time, but Leon won the previous time, might have even had a winning record, so.
Yeah, that dude, and he had to play Jackal game 5. Like, that was another one. that was
Jackal is
really
like
close.
literally, out of everyone in the building, Jackal could have been the most important W for Light in terms of,
Yeah.
The previous encounters and stuff. You're thinking
It's
of
like-
someone like Spargo or Leo, but for him, it might have been Jackal, literally.
It's like you
yeah.
with-
Light-
You should have
Light
seen.
hated
You
it.
should have seen Light after he beat Jude. Like, he was in the venue, just survived a heart attack, like popping off, like throwing shit. Like, he was really,
Like
really
Evo.
happy. Yeah.
yeah, it's like you
And-
won Evo, dude.
Oh, apparently Light and Leon have only played once,
Okay.
or
Well,
now twice.
yeah.
so they're one.
It was like a
He's
long
lost
time
to him
ago.
before,
so,
though, yeah.
yeah.
He lost to him. Then he had to play Zombo. That was game 5. Then he had to play Chag. That was game 5 right before
Yeah,
you.
like, if
That's
Classic
a lot.
Light.
That's
Light
a
has-
lot, dude.
I'd be
Light
surprised
always,
if
like-
you aren't gassed at this point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
Well,
good
he is
point.
the pro tag, Light's the pro tag, so he's got to always play game 5.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
always got to be last
Think of-
hit, super stressful. He has to get like crazy sick hard read at the end, or the barely back air shield poke. So Light's the pro
What do you
tag. He knows
mean
what he's trying to go
barely?
for.
There's no such. It's either a shield poke or it isn't. That's fucking bullshit.
Chag
I
got
hold
him
my
at-
shield up at Summit.
Let's say.
Yo, chat. We haven't even talked about this.
Uh-oh.
We haven't even talked about
Uh-oh.
this on the podcast. Imagine this is how you lose a game 5 set at like the biggest tournament ever, or like one of the biggest tournaments ever.
One of the biggest prize pools ever.
Yeah, like Summit prize pool. They're always huge. Imagine this: game 5, you're reverse 3-0ing Light. Fox is fucking cringe. Like, you know, all this stuff, right? And then you're winning. You get the first stock. You're like, yes. You die because Fox just like nukes you. Okay, cool. And then you SD your second stock. It's like, damn, like that sucks. Your last stock, you're in this situation that you know is going to happen. Literally, you know it. You shield the first back air from Fox. You're like, all right, so since I'm a good player, I'm going to angle my shield up. So the second back air doesn't shield poke me. And it shield pokes you and you lose. And then they pop off. So first off, you SD'd your previous stock. And then you die to a shield poke. And then they pop off on you. What am I supposed to do?
Shake his hand.
What did you want from me?
Yeah, shake his hand.
Shake his hand.
Sakurai, what did you want from me?
What do you want? You gotta
genuinely. Someone tell me what did you want me to do? And if you tell me to parry, I'm never doing this podcast again.
Bro, play better.
I'll show you. I've seen people roll there. I'll show you what happens when they do that.
I watched Chag. Chag was so good at specific.
Okay, Chag was low-key goated at that parry. Not even low-key.
Dude, he rolled too. Like his mix-ups out of that exact, because that's what Light is so good at, is just getting you in the corner and just fucking you. Like it's just over. Like when that happens. And Chag said, "Nah." Like dude, that was such a good set. Honestly, I love that set. Such a Chag fan after that. Well, I already was, but now it's like solidified after that one. It was sick.
Angle your shield higher. All right, I'm never asking you a question again.
Character with a bigger shield.
True.
Oh yeah, so shout outs to Gabriel for the prime, and if you guys have primes, make sure to.
Thank you.
Yeah, toss those. Yeah, this isn't a free. Well, it is a free show, but you know what? We gotta keep the lights on.
You know what else is free? Prime. Hey.
Sheesh. So yeah, shout outs to Spargo for winning Summit, that invitational event right after, and Collision.
Before invitational. Yes.
With Cloud.
Okay, so now I think we. Well, do you guys want to? I guess we can talk about. Well, it's so hard. I feel like we gotta talk about both Leo and Spargo kind of at the same time because they pretty much had like similar-ish runs. It's pretty crazy because Leo has been, clear-cut the best. I still think Leo's the best player. I would still consider him that.
Course.
Like, I think it's so cap when people are just like, "Oh, is Leo not the best anymore?" It's like this motherfucker has been running the game.
Yeah, we're a little too quick to say something like that. That is very bold.
3 years,
Bro.
Okay, and then he doesn't win 3 tournaments, and we're like, oh, I don't know. Like, remember, so before Ultimate Summit 4, 37 tournaments in a row at first or second place, 30 of them in which he won. So 130 got second at 7. That is fucking crazy.
Yeah, of course.
That level of consistency on the top, like that, Leo is like practically timeless in Ultimate at this point. Like, so
we can't be so fast to like
yet.
say something like that.
Also,
Dude,
we should just live in the present. Congratulate Spargo on winning. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, Spargo did an amazing job. I think Spargo was clearly the best player in the venue, right? Like to me at least. Not by a long shot. But the consistency, man. Spargo.
Yeah, like that's incredible.
Is so damn good.
With
He's
Cloud.
so good at pushing. With Cloud, not even Pyromither. He's so good at the corner situation.
That was Coach EE's advice.
He's like so good at understanding what players like ticks are out of the corner. He'll like scout that out really well, and he's just like, I might not know exactly what you want to do after I hit you with falling background block, but I got a pretty good hunch, and I can like pre-position and react based off that hunch. And he plays that scenario so well. Obviously, all the other stuff about his play is really good. I think Cloud is a great answer to Byleth. Shutting down Nair is obviously like one of the main things.
It was night and day. Like.
Right, having the up B against Byleth there was huge.
The Aegis versus the Byleth, and then the Cloud comes out, has out of shield. Byleth can't really do as much in neutral. Like, Spargo just took that and ran
so
with it.
carelessly.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like in matchups where Leo can nair in almost every single boxing scenario and the opponent can't do shit because of the mix-ups, I feel like that's a very good thing for Byleth in the matchup. Yeah. You know what I mean? How the character deals with nair. But, yeah, I mean, Spargo just... It's very, very impressive, and it is something to say in terms of just like it's been I don't think it's never really happened where Leo did not win. Like 3 tournaments happened and Leo didn't win. So obviously there's something to talk about.
Yeah.
I do think it's super capped to say that Leo's not the best anymore. Or I
we
think
just
it's
need to
also
talk
super
about
capped-
it less matter of fact and more just talking
Right.
about what happened.
Well,
Exactly.
dude,
Yeah.
And the whole Joker thing, that was pissing me. Well, you
Yeah.
don't beat Leo if he doesn't go.
We've
Joker.
seen this before. We've seen.
Yeah,
Dude, this
please.
is so,
That is
like,
my fucking
Leo's
life.
Joker. Yeah, and the thing is, like, Leo's Joker is like, remember, you have to put time into characters. If Leo just went all Joker, he might not do as well. I think his Byleth is better than his Joker by a long shot. And players have gotten a lot better at fighting Joker. One of the bigger reasons why Gavin picked up Diddy was the character was fun and also had a good matchup against Joker. The fact that Gavin picked up Joker and Leo was like, you know what, I don't want to like do Joker.
I'm
And
feeling
it's like
Byleth.
kind of like just
Shifted.
you know, Gavin luck. There's some tweak luck right there. But I mean, nonetheless, it's please stop saying all this shit about Joker. I think, you know, Leo I think has said on Twitter that he's definitely considering it or probably will use it against Minmin. Minmin is obviously a problem character for him. We saw it against Proto, right? So you know, we could see it there, but to go as far as saying like it's all front loaded on Leo's Joker just because of his previous Joker record, the game
Bro.
is way
It's
different
a
now.
completely
So-
different game now.
Dude,
And I think he would still. I would go as far as to say his results would be the same if he like put in a lot of time with Joker. I think he would do just as well.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
the same shit.
But there's
Dude.
just literally no point of the conversation I see people do on social media. Like if X player did this, it's like
You don't even know though. Like it's so weird.
How,
those kind
like,
of conversations are
what an
weird as fuck.
unfun conversation because you're just talking about hypotheticals only. Like you're not talking about anything. There's so much that happened this weekend that you could talk about that actually happened.
Yeah.
And you could like, you know, base stuff off of that instead of like talking about like
Well,
I don't know.
and it's like
Also-
if he took that approach, like if he was so reactive with his character choices, he would have dropped Joker almost immediately. You know, you got to go back to your Fire Emblem sorties because your Joker did poorly at one tournament, then we wouldn't have where we are today. There's no way it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? He could pick up any character that's within reason. Obviously, can't.
Good enough. Good enough.
Yeah, thank you, Charles. Yep, that's the key term. I love that so much. Good enough, absolutely, and do just as well. Maybe a little bit of shift here and there, but he could do it with anyone. Is the bottom line. I remember, I was on commentary and someone got mad because they're like, "Did Haz just say Leo underperformed?" I'm like, he did. Third place is underperformed.
Yes.
Fourth place is underperformed for him. If anything, that just speaks to his greatness and how
Yeah.
fucking godlike he is. If he underperformed by getting third place, I think that's insane. It is
Every other
absolutely
player in the
insane. It's
world,
just
that would
crazy
be
shit.
like the peak of their, tournament experience.
If I got third at that tournament, I'd be a little disappointed in myself. But it'd still be a pretty good result,
Oh my
But
God.
Be disappointed in you, honestly.
I'll give it up. I'll
If
give
you
it
got
up.
third,
Also-
you would have outplaced Riddles, so you would have been the best
Oh,
fighting
I-
game player in the world.
I'd be on social media with Andres FN and Vendetta Duke.
Oh,
and
no,
that'll be
not
me
that.
too. Yes,
Oh.
let's go. Give me a commentary for that Heat match, dude. Let's go. Get me
Oh,
on there.
honestly-
I need to be on.
Hazardous Matthew is the best Ken.
Get me on there. Thank
All
you.
right.
You heard it. Someone, that's my next. Hazmatt making Mars look foolish. That's gonna be the beginning of it.
All right, that's the end of episode 40. Yeah, we've been talking for over an hour.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts?
One last one. Shout outs to Squad Strike champion WebJP, my student. Great
I
player. You guys all know him. He
Forgot
rules.
Squad Strike happened.
He had an underperforming tournament in terms of singles, but came back the next day and won Squad Strikes, and I think that is really good shit and deserves a shout out. Thought Taker we covered, Riddles obviously, and you, Gavin, like you play fucking amazing, man. Like a lot of shit you've been working on really shined through. You beat everyone in the venue, just we're one set away, man. So proud of you and shit.
Thank you.
And yeah, it was great, amazing tournament. Thanks to RJ again. That's about it.
I definitely talked way too much, so I personally want to hear more of like Pink's perspective on Spargo's gameplay. I don't know if you had anything to say like about Spargo's
You know the
gameplay.
crazy thing? You know the craziest thing? And I've talked about this before with a few people. I've analyzed and watched players for a very long time, and normally I can pick out what makes a player so good, but I cannot figure it out with Spargo.
That's
I can't-
probably more of a good thing than a bad thing.
Yeah, it's
It is, yeah.
it is incredibly difficult to figure him out. Like I'm just
Yeah.
sitting there because realistically, you got to figure like Cloud is pretty limited, right? As a character, he
Yeah.
really doesn't have like that many options. He's pretty limited or pretty linear.
Linear,
So
yeah.
like I'm sitting there and I'm watching Spargo and I'm like, I don't get it. I don't. I can't figure out like
Dude, I
what
couldn't either.
make-
I really couldn't.
it's so strange. Like I think he's like one of the strangest players I've ever witnessed, and that's probably going to speak to him for years to come. That it is extremely hard to figure him out, and it feels like it's really easy for him to figure people out. I don't know. I think it's really
Yeah,
strange.
that's a
Like
good point.
I do want to sit there and like one day just like watch a lot of Spargo VODs because like yeah, it's like the obvious stuff, right? Like sometimes he fast falls his back air, sometimes he has like sometimes his drift is different, sometimes they're rising back airs. But like there's like a specific back air. There's one thing that I noticed, and there's a specific back air that he does where like if you're below him, but you're going upward and he's coming down, he'll do like this back air that hit upwards as he's falling. And I don't understand like how he consistently does it. It's really strange. It's hard to explain. I can't point it out because there's no video, but there's like a specific way he uses back air in some scenarios that I think is like really good. But I don't know. I have a very difficult time figuring out like what makes Spargo, if that makes sense. Obviously, like he has the best recoveries in the world. It's Cloud. Like it's not even close. I don't even know how he recovers the majority of the time. It doesn't make any sense.
Yes.
Yeah. I
Same
could have
agree
done a
with
much better job
Yeah.
for sure.
But like honestly, it just feels like he's right a lot.
Yeah.
Like he just knows.
Yeah.
I was literally saying that. I was saying that about Quidd and Spargo at Collision. I'm like, they're just like mind reading.
True.
They're just
True.
like mind reading these players.
Somebody else, I can't remember who it was. I was like in like a random Twitch chat, and they were like, "Yeah, dude, it kind of just feels like Quidd like read everyone's soul up until top 8.
Yeah.
Like he just knew."
Yeah.
Versus Zomba, there was like situations where like, did he just read him 5 times?
And it
Yep.
it kind of makes me wonder if that comes from Wi-Fi. Part of me, because I know Quidd's a huge Wi-Fi or like was, I don't know, over quarantine. That's where Quidd's like really started performing well. Um, and of course, Spargo obviously is like
Yeah,
what everyone
been
deemed
playing
the
Wi-Fi for, like,
warrior, right?
You know, like 5+ years at this point.
Yeah. Like hours and hours per day. I wonder if like part of that just comes from him playing Wi-Fi and being like, I just know what you're gonna do.
Yeah.
You know?
All right.
Yeah, Wi-Fi warriors always end up being some of the strongest players to ever touch a controller.
Super true.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you have any closing thoughts, Kevin?
All right. I gotta dip, guys. See ya.
Oh,
True.
Shout outs to Tri-State. Shout outs to RJ. Shout outs to everyone for the support. Shout outs to B over here.
let's go B.
We had a great weekend. Good job with Haz and Max on top 8. It was great to just be at a Jersey tournament for once. Shout outs to one of my best friends, Jackal, for having a solid 13th place performance. I feel like, that should be a reassuring tournament for him, and he had really close losses too. And yeah, I'm pretty motivated. I want to keep practicing and playing Diddy. Shouts to Spargo for literally winning 3 tournaments in a row. 3 really stacked tournaments. Shouts to Larry for double eliminating MkLeo at that invitational. We didn't talk about the invitational. I personally didn't watch it, but I know that Larry did that. I fucking love Larry. Shouts to that.
Let's go, Larry.
And yeah, thank you everyone for watching the podcast. Episode 40 ended up being a really great one. And yeah, see ya.